Yo, are we live? Are we live? Welcome to another live stream of Just My Opinion podcast. Yeah. I know I haven't done too many lives over here on the other side of the pillow when it comes to my channel. You guys know I have multiple channels. Anywho, rate, comment, subscribe, share this podcast, share this YouTube channel as well as this live stream in the YouTube algorithm. It helps out. And also remember, the comment section is your domain. Okay. You tell me if I'm right, if I'm wrong, if I'm tripping. The comment section is for you guys that are listening and watching this live stream. But nevertheless, I'm the best. Let's get into today's and why I'm why I am doing a live stream in the middle of the morning, early in the morning. Now, this should be too early for this podcast domain, but anywho, breaking news. This just came down the news wire. I've been watching CBS Sports. I also been watching ESPN. Now, this isn't really official, but it's about 99.9% official. And that is Kevin Durant is heading to the Phoenix Suns. Now, it seems like the Phoenix Suns and the Brooklyn Nets have already agreed in principle what pieces and draft picks the Brooklyn Nets are going to receive, as well as the Phoenix Suns getting Kevin Durant as well as Warden. But we're just going to be talking about the pieces that I feel like that's important to talk about. And that is Kevin Durant going to the desert. Now, fun fact, if you allow my brother to explain, Kevin Durant he had two destinations he wanted to go to, either the Phoenix Suns and the Miami Heat over in season before this season even started. The Brooklyn Nets said, nah, we better pump the brakes on it. You just signed a 4-year extension with the Brooklyn Nets. And, you should add more teams to the pot and also give us a second chance. I mean, you haven't even played with Ben Simmons, another year with Kyrie Irving. Who knows what this team could possibly go to as far as this season, the future plans for the Brooklyn Nets this season. Now, they're above 500. And I did a live stream as well as a video on this channel telling you guys the last dance when it comes to Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, as well as Ben Simmons. I've told you, and I'm going to sum it up real fast, real quick. I felt like this was going to be a one and done, and the Brooklyn Nets are going to be immediately trading away Kyrie Irving, as well as Kevin Durant, and possibly on the horizon Ben Simmons. I told you guys this was going to be the last dance for all three of these. All right. But we'll talk about that a little bit later in this live stream. Let's talk about why you guys are here. And that is the simple fact that Kevin Durant is going to the Phoenix Suns. He'll be playing alongside DeAndre Jordan. Yeah, you heard me. DeAndre Jordan, DeAndre Ayton, excuse me, as well as Chris Paul, and as well as and I just got a memory loss of Devin Booker, and with Kevin Durant, this trade elevates the Phoenix Suns. I feel like with this trade, they're already heads and shoulders better than the Memphis Grizzlies, better than the Golden State Warriors. I mean, those are the two leading teams thus far that a lot of people, a lot of analysts are saying either one of these teams are going to be representing the West in the Western Conference Finals. It already devalues and diluted the Dallas Mavericks because they acquired Kyrie Irving. So it already put a damper on that. When that trade, which was yesterday, was a couple of days ago, when the Dallas Mavericks traded for Kyrie Irving, they got Kyrie Irving. I felt like, you got two players that desperately need the ball, but with half of a season, they'll probably figure it. They'll definitely figure it out. And I gave you guys examples of teams that had two ISO players, and turns out that they did fairly well as far as advancing into the playoffs. I gave you an example of Chris Paul and James Harden when both of those cats were with the Houston Rockets. No, I'm sorry. With James Harden as well as Russell Westbrook. My brain is slowing down. That sort of worked, as well as Chris Paul playing alongside another superstar. That worked as well. And I gave you guys several examples of teams that worked and teams that didn't work. But let's just talk about this trade for a second. It elevates the Phoenix Suns as a strong contender as far as representing the teams in the West. There's going to be a lot of teams in the West are going to be on scramble mode to try to elevate their team to sort of one up the Phoenix Suns. But the Phoenix Suns got KD, and no one else has them. I feel like KD's talent blends well with any team. Chris Paul is getting up there in age. Chris Paul is more of a facilitator. So now that's just another bullet in the chamber for him to throw an assist to. Devin Booker. Devin Booker is still going to get his touches. Aiden is still going to be able to get his touches. And now you got Kevin Durant. They're more a lengthy athletic team. Not counting Chris Paul, but Chris Paul is going to do. Chris Paul is not going to have to do so much to get this team going. Because it should be times where Kevin Durant would want to push the ball up like he did, similar to the Golden State Warriors. I think this is a great haul for the Phoenix Suns. And it's even a bigger haul for the Brooklyn Nets. Let's talk about the Brooklyn Nets for a second. The Brooklyn Nets are stockpiling picks. Now, they got picks for Kyrie Irving, and then they got a multitude of picks from the Phoenix Suns. Obviously, the Brooklyn Nets are in rebuilding mode. I think they're a below average 500 team, even with Jacque Vaughn as the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. They got a bunch of pieces, but none of the pieces necessarily matches for them to even make it into the playoffs. Obviously, they don't have any superstars on that roster, but they do have pieces there that will contribute, that will continue to try to contend and have somewhat of a winning record. If you look at the draft picks, and I feel like that's the biggest piece of the puzzle for the Brooklyn Nets, they're in rebuilding mode. And I told you guys over the summer that I felt like the Brooklyn Nets were going to be in rebuilding mode if they traded away Ben Simmons as well as Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Now the other shoe has dropped with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Obviously, they're going to keep Ben Simmons long enough to evaluate him. And now the onus is on Ben Simmons to try to get this team somewhat competitive. He's going to have to bring his A game when it comes to offense. Now, he's solid in other areas, but I haven't seen a sense of him commanding the ball and shooting. Now, shooting is his weakness. Now, if he continues on this pace of shooting being his weakness, obviously they're going to get rid of him over the summer, and they'll probably get some draft picks for him. Not as many as Kyrie or Kevin Durant, but I feel like if you look at the Brooklyn Nets, it seemed like they have a plan. It seemed like they didn't do a soft scrub. They did a hard scrub and got rid of not only Kyrie Irving, which a lot of people said that it was going to be difficult to do because of Kyrie Irving's availability. Like Charles Barkley says, half player, half a season. It would, a lot of people felt like it was going to be difficult to get any type of pieces for Kyrie Irving, and they got a haul of picks for Kyrie Irving. Now, and they got a humongous haul for Kevin Durant, particularly in the offseason when Kevin Durant only wanted to go to two teams, either the Miami Heat or the Phoenix Suns. We all knew it was going to be the Phoenix Suns because Miami Heat really has nothing to offer to the Brooklyn Nets. And they didn't want to trade him in the same conference where they will have to see him more times than not. The same thing goes with Kyrie Irving. I feel like the odds of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant trying to go to another team is slim to none. Kyrie Irving's got better things to worry about, like trying to get a max contract. And the only way he's going to be able to get a max contract is to sign an extension with the Dallas Mavericks. And now he can orchestrate something and pout and whine and cry and complain and say, look, I want to go to the Lakers. Now, the Dallas Mavericks would probably trade him to the Lakers if all else failed as far as them keeping him with the Dallas Mavericks. But I feel like the only way he's going to the Dallas Mavericks is not going to be for no other team is going to sign him to a max just to trade him to the Los Angeles Lakers. So I feel like Kyrie Irving is going to stay put and stay with the Dallas Mavericks. Okay. Now, as far as Kevin Durant goes, Kevin Durant is where he wanted to be all along, which was the Phoenix Suns. I feel like Joe Tsai and Sean Marks owed him a solid. They owed him a favor to not just trade him anywhere, because at the end of the day, Kevin Durant, like it or not, love it or hate it, wasn't a problem or a thorn to the upper management as well as the owner of the Brooklyn Nets, and just played through a lot of situations. Now, I said this in a video and also said this in a live stream. It's not resonating with a lot of people right now, and I've been saying this for a long, long time. If you've been subscribed to my channel, this is a pure failure on the behalf of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. It's not registering to people's mindset right now, but I guarantee you, when ESPN do a documentary of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, this is going to be a huge failure for these two guys, and it's going to be the worst failures in NBA history. You had two superstars with hardware going to the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets already had a pretty solid team there. Kyrie Irving didn't like the team. They traded away picks as well as players just to rent James Harden, and then James Harden bolted out of there. You had the COVID situation. You just had Kyrie not attending a lot of practices, having his own practices. Kyrie Irving not placating to either coaches, okay? And it's a huge nightmare. It's going to be a huge stain for Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And it's also a pure example on when player empowerment goes wrong, when it goes left. Now, a lot of people and I heard this in read this in a lot of articles and saw a lot of videos of a lot of these analysts saying, well, the last time a player empowerment worked for the player's behalf as far as winning titles go is with the Miami Heat. But people seem to forget, LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade all wanted to play together and formed a super team. But if it wasn't for the ownership of the Miami Heat, if it wasn't for Pat Riley, if it wasn't for Eric putting the blueprint on, I don't think that Miami Heat team, if they didn't have none of those pieces in management or ownership there, it would have probably crashed and burned with the Miami Heat, because the Miami Heat would have probably dictated to whatever LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh wanted. At the end of the day, there was structure there. There was a foundation there. And with that structure and with that foundation, they won 2 titles. They could have won 3 titles, 4 titles. But, LeBron did not want to placate with Pat Riley, because it would have been Pat Riley's way or the highway. And that's why LeBron James bolted to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he won one title there. He also bolted to the LA Lakers, won a title there. But player empowerment thus far, the majority of player empowerment, it really does not work very well for superstars. Now I know somebody's going to say in the comment section, I know somebody's going to say in YouTube, well, what about the Golden State Warriors? Okay, the Golden State, but the thing about the Golden State Warriors is they already had a structure in place. They already had a Hall of Fame player as a coach in Steve Kerr. So player empowerment didn't ramp up rapidly with the Golden State Warriors. Okay, and for the record, those players, the Klay Thompsons, the Steph Currys, the Draymond Greens, okay, they didn't get those players from other teams. They drafted those teams. So if you got structure and if you got an ownership, a nose hold bars ownership with a no and a solid head coach, you can go places with talent. Without talent, you can't win championship. You also have to have talent. So I feel like you got to be strong in all phases. And when we look at the Brooklyn Nets, they had Kyrie Irving, they had Kevin Durant, and they hold that ownership hostage. They had Sean Marks that came from the San Antonio Spurs, but he didn't really have a lot of power to dictate his power to Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. They pretty much placated to whatever Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant wanted. Now, if you don't believe me, DeAndre Jordan, who was a shell of himself, got some. That's all. If Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant wanted him, they signed him to some ridiculous money, and they pretty much put money in his pocket. He served no purpose for the Brooklyn Nets other than being a friend, a buddy to Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. They wanted to flex their muscle. They wanted to show the world that they run this ish. All right. And for both of them being there, they only won one playoff series. They only played 70 games together. Okay. So it was a huge failure for Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And I feel like when it's all said and done, when history is sealed and formed in concrete, the escape coats are going to be Sean Marks, the owner Joe Tsai. People are not going to be talking about them. They're going to be talking more about these two guys, these two players running roughshod with the Brooklyn Nets. But history is going to make them look real bad, these two players. Now, I feel like with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, they are going two separate ways. All right. This move where Kevin Durant goes to the Phoenix Suns can pay off beautiful for him as far as winning another title. I feel like if he gets one more title, people are going to forget that he went to the Brooklyn Nets. But with Kyrie Irving, I don't see him winning a title with the Dallas Mavericks. I feel like the Dallas Mavericks are going to improve of having two scores. But at the end of the day, unless some wild, crazy thing happened where all of the talent of the Golden State Warriors are injured, the Phoenix Suns, all the talent of the Phoenix Suns are injured. The Memphis Grizzlies talent is injured. I feel like if they can squeak past those three teams and they're injury prone, then this decision of Kyrie Irving going to the Dallas Mavericks is going to pay off beautifully for him. But the West has beefing up. There's talent everywhere in the West. Even the Oklahoma City Thunder has talent. Okay, there are no easy games out west. And now with this move, it only makes the West even bigger and better. Now, I just uploaded a video talking about the Los Angeles Lakers and the trade that they got to get talent players to help them contribute to the roster. All right. Well, just go check out that video for yourself. I'm not gonna go in full detail of what I've said, but to tie a little bow on it and to get it real fast and real quick for the LA Lakers when they made that move. The Lakers are 4 games under 500. LeBron James surpassed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I believe he scored like 35 points, and of those 35 points, it still couldn't get them past the Oklahoma City Thunder. I feel like a lot of people are forgetting that the Lakers still lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder. All right, at the end of the day, yes, LeBron got the record, Kareem's record, but that's the only cheers the Los Angeles Lakers had. All right, the Oklahoma City Thunder won that game, and it even put them even further down below 500. Now, with the pieces that they picked up tonight, I think they're going to be a little bit better, but I don't feel like those pieces are going to pole vault them into the Western Conference Finals. And now with this move, with Kevin Durant going to the Phoenix Suns, it really put a kibosh on anything the Lakers are going to be doing moving forward. And I said in that video that I uploaded 4 hours ago, if the Los Angeles Lakers somehow, some way get a Kawhi Leonard or get a Kevin Durant, all right, now you got something cooking there with all the other pieces that they have traded thus far. If you thought that the Lakers were going to win and contend for a title, LeBron, if he stays out west, he is never going to sniff another title again. He's going to be, either his team is either going to play in the play-in tournament or be a first round exit because the other teams have simply gotten better. Okay, they're forming super teams out there out west. There's a lot of teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder that just draft, just getting talent from the NBA draft. Okay, there's a lot of teams out there that are getting their roster better by key free agent signings. Okay, and the Lakers, have been lackadaisical. Now, part of that reason is they didn't have enough money under the salary cap, and they was not going to give up both of them draft picks for just trading to be trading. Okay, that's the only value. That's the only value the Los Angeles Lakers have were those 2 draft picks. It wasn't LeBron. It wasn't Russell Westbrook. Even though Russell Westbrook was in tune to being 6th man of the year, it wasn't because of Anthony Davis. Darvin Ham has done amazing things over there in La La Land, but it's still not good enough for them to be representing in the Western Conference Finals. With this move, that's another team the Lakers are going to have to worry about, as well as the rest of the league, the NBA. The tables have indeed turned. I feel like with this move, they bounced the Grizzlies out. All right. I feel like it's Golden State until someone knocks off Golden State, and I think it's Golden State, the Phoenix Suns, and then it bumps the Grizzlies as the third, possibly 4th best team. Unless the Grizzlies do something extraordinary before the trade deadline, they have some serious problems for them, because who on the Grizzlies are going to D up Kevin Durant, all right, or Devin Booker? Now, Chris Paul is getting up there in age, but Ayton had a phenomenal game against the Brooklyn Nets, all right? So he's only getting better, all right? And now if, I feel like with this move, it catapults the Suns as the top dog in the West. It would not surprise me nor shock me none if the Phoenix Suns are in the NBA Finals and they playing against the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics, it's their turn until Milwaukee can prove otherwise. But this trade is hurting teams in the West, hurting teams' chances in the West as far as getting a title. Now, I talked about the West. Let's talk about the East for a second. I feel like that's a 2-team town over there between the Milwaukee Bucks and between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Boston Celtics. I feel like everyone else is shooting for third. All right, the Miami Heat has took a step back. The Brooklyn Nets, they have mailed it in. They're done. They're just in rebuild mode. The Philadelphia 76ers, I see question marks with that team, okay? With health reasons and the coaching. Doc Rivers has not put out his A game, and he has no excuses. If he does not get the Philadelphia 76ers in representing the East in the NBA Finals, he's going to be looking for a job as well. But this really makes, by putting Kevin Durant back into the West, this really is a two team town when it comes to the East. It's either the Milwaukee Bucks, which I don't have a lot of faith in the Milwaukee Bucks. I feel like the Milwaukee Bucks need to do a trade to bolster that roster just a little bit. And the Boston Celtics they just stay pat. All right, they're still running roughshod, even though their coach is suspended because of his sexual antics with the organization over there, which I'm not going to go into full details about. But the Boston Celtics are still rolling along with no problems. All right, so but with Kevin Durant going to the Phoenix Suns, that was one of the teams he wanted to go to, either Phoenix or Miami. And like I said earlier in this live stream, Miami never had a chance. Okay, Miami is in the same conference as the Brooklyn Nets, and the Brooklyn Nets were not going to trade him just to make him happy. And now they got to see this guy, every year. They obviously was going to trade him somewhere out west. So I'm just giving you guys the heads up on that. Normally I would read in the comment section and find out what you guys are talking about. But no one's not commenting. But I had people in the room. I still have people in the room. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on what has transpired. And this is a blockbuster trade. No one saw this trade coming. All right. Even when Kyrie Irving was traded to the Dallas Mavericks, no one still saw this come. Now, I said particularly in that Kyrie Irving video, when I was talking about him being traded to the Dallas Mavericks, I even said in that video, it would not surprise me none if the Brooklyn Nets traded Kevin Durant in the offseason. Okay, they just moved it a few games earlier. They're still in the season, and they went on and just moved him anyway. I felt like that was the best package they was going to ever get from Kevin Durant. But if they would have waited until the offseason, people would have moved hell and high water to get in the running as far as getting Kevin Durant on their team. But the Phoenix Suns came a calling. They made an offer that the Brooklyn Nets could not refuse. The Brooklyn Nets got their draft picks back where they lost from James Harden. They got more than enough. Obviously, they're going to be rebuilding and retooling. And look, the writing was on the wall. Even if they had Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, it was not a foregone conclusion that these two guys were going to beat and dethrone the Boston Celtics, have no problem beating the Milwaukee Bucks. Those were the two teams that were in front of the Brooklyn Nets. All right. I think this, even with Kyrie and Kevin Durant, I feel like they would have had problems with Miami. And Miami is not or the Philadelphia 76ers. So those four teams would have had that. Those 14 would not been an easy out for the Brooklyn Nets. But yeah, that's all I got for tonight. I really do appreciate everyone coming by. Please hit the like button. Please comment in the comments section when the live stream is over with. Rewatch this. I gave you my theories on this. I gave you my expert opinion on this. But it's a huge trade. But I'm up out of here. I gotta get some sleep. I may talk a little bit more about this a little bit later. But I'm up out of here. Deuces, y'all. Outro. I'll see y'all on the flip side of things.